Greetings, everyone. You're tuned into Six Path Weeb, welcome to the channel. Today's discussion dives into an intriguing theory, Naruko as the reincarnation of Hagoromo, Part 4. Disclaimer, the content on this channel is intended purely for entertainment and thoughtful discussion. I do not own any of the anime footage featured in this video. All rights and credits belong to their respective creators and copyright holders. Let's get into it. Time skip, 1 week later. The two teams, Zabuza and Haku, made their way across the completed bridge. Awaiting them, unsurprisingly, stood Gato surrounded by a group of hired enforcers. However, what caught Naruko off guard were the two cloaked figures beside him, unmistakably members of the Akatsuki. Sasuke's eyes narrowed in disbelief and emotion. Standing across from him was someone he had been determined to confront, Itachi Uchiha. "Itachi," Sasuke said, voice tight with intensity. "Hello, Sasuke," Itachi replied in his usual calm, neutral tone. His gaze then shifted to Naruko, and a faint smile tugged at the corners of his lips. "To think," Naruko said, raising an eyebrow, "that someone like Gato would go so far as to bring in such high-level mercenaries. All for one bridge builder." Gato gave a smug grin. "Oh, I didn't just hire them, they're here for you. While they handle your little group, my men will handle the bridge builder and seize control of the village." Before Gato could say more, Naruko released a wave of overwhelming chakra pressure that left many of the mercenaries frozen in fear, unable to move. "You've just made a very poor choice," Naruko said firmly. Sasuke rushed forward at Itachi, but the elder Uchiha calmly deflected the charge with a swift motion and turned his eyes back to Naruko. "Naruko," Itachi said, "you should come with us. This doesn't have to be difficult." "You'd be wise to make this easy on yourself," Kisame added, stepping forward with a grin. Naruko slowly walked forward with her eyes closed, then in a blink, delivered a swift and precise punch that even Itachi's Sharingan couldn't anticipate. Kisame moved to retaliate, but was stopped in his tracks by a sharp, crystalline bone, held steadily by Hinata, who stood unfazed. "Planning to take on Kisame yourself, Princess Hinata?" Naruko asked with a soft smirk. "I believe it's my turn to face off against one of the 7 swordsmen," Hinata replied confidently. "Just keep it balanced," Naruko said lightly. "Says the one who invented a quadruple S-class technique," Hinata teased. "You wound me," Naruko said with a playful chuckle. Suddenly, a stream of fire burst toward them. Naruko quickly pushed Hinata to safety and allowed the flames to pass through an afterimage. Sasuke had fired the technique at Itachi, but Itachi evaded it, and the resulting blast scattered the mercenaries and their leader, Gato. "Sasuke. That wasn't smart," Naruko exclaimed. The smoke cleared, and she stood unharmed but clearly unimpressed. "The only one who can defeat Itachi is me," Sasuke insisted, charging again, only to be deflected with ease by Itachi, who sent him sliding back. With that interruption out of the way, Itachi said, eyes focusing on Naruko once again, "Let's continue. Let's test who really wields the greater gift of Indra, you or me," Naruko said, her Sharingan activating with a flicker of light. She dashed in, striking with precision. Itachi blocked the blow, countered with a strike, which Naruko evaded and returned with a palm heel that caught him off balance. She followed with a low sweep and created distance to form hand signs. "Katen, Gokakyu no Jutsu," she declared. Itachi dodged the fireball, launching one of his own in response. Naruko countered with a water dragon, neutralizing the technique. Meanwhile, Hinata had gained the upper hand against Kisame. His attempts to use water-based clones were swiftly dismantled by her unique bone techniques. Back to back, Hinata and Naruko kept their eyes on their opponents. "Something feels off," Hinata muttered. "They don't have the chakra levels they should." "This doesn't seem authentic," Naruko replied. "They're not clones. Then what are they?" "I don't know. But I'm ending this now." Naruko's eyes shifted as her Rinnegan activated. She leapt onto a nearby structure and formed a seal. Rinbo, Hengoku. 4 shadow-like figures emerged and rushed toward the Akatsuki pair, striking them with immense force. The resulting impact sent both figures flying, one into a support beam, the other toward Hinata's poised defense. The illusions faded, revealing that neither figure was real, they were disguised shinobi wearing mist headbands. "What just happened?" Hinata asked, puzzled. "I've never seen that kind of deception technique before," Naruko answered thoughtfully. She glanced at the remains of the enemy forces and the now empty place where Gato once stood. "Well, Gato's plans have officially failed. Shall we check his vaults?" Time skip, 3 days later. Naruko and her companion stood in front of Inari and the people of the village, now gathered before the completed bridge. "Thank you, truly. All of you," Tazuna said gratefully. Over the past few days, the group had secured Gato's wealth and distributed it among the citizens, restoring prosperity to the village. Even after the deduction for mission costs, Nami no Kuni had begun to thrive once more. "We'll be heading off now," Naruko said with a bright smile. "What should we name the bridge?" Tsunami asked. "How about the super awesome Tazuna Bridge?" Tazuna suggested proudly, only to get lightly bonked on the head with a frying pan. "How about the Great Naruko Bridge?" Inari proposed, and the people cheered in agreement. Konoha, Hokage's office. Hiruzen Sarutobi observed the 4 shinobi before him, with the rest of Team 7 and Team 8 already dismissed. "You really enjoy giving me more paperwork, don't you, Naruko?" he asked with a sigh, rubbing his temples. Naruko only smiled mischievously. "So let me get this straight," Sarutobi continued. "You're proposing that you and Hinata undertake a top-tier mission to support the rebellion in the Hidden Mist. In exchange for Konoha gaining an alliance afterward?" "That's the agreement," Zabuza confirmed. "Very well, but I'm assigning both of you masks to conceal your identities," the Hokage decided. "Deal," Zabuza replied. Sarutobi handed over 2 masks previously used by root agents. Naruko placed a genjutsu seal on hers, temporarily altering her appearance, including turning her hair black. "Return in 1 month's time for the Chunin exams." "As you wish, Hokage-sama," Naruko replied. Arrival in the Hidden Mist. After 10 days of travel, the group arrived at Kirigakure, only to be quickly surrounded by masked Anbu. "Zabuza Momochi, by order of Lord Yagura, you are to be detained," the lead shinobi announced. Naruko and Hinata responded swiftly, gently disarming the Anbu with graceful movements and rendering the confrontation harmless. Soon, they reached the rebel camp, where a woman with auburn hair stepped forward in surprise. "Zabuza? Is that really you?" Looking radiant as ever, "May," Zabuza said with a grin. "And these children?" she asked skeptically, glancing at Naruko, Hinata, and Haku. Naruko narrowed her eyes slightly at the dismissiveness. "They are not ordinary children. These 2 possess mastery over their tailed beasts, numbered 9 and 10, and exceptional skills," Zabuza replied. "I brought Haku because he's like a son to me," he added warmly. "Before I can accept your help, I need to know your abilities," May said cautiously. Hinata nodded. "Let us speak in private." Once inside a tent, Naruko activated a space-time seal that ensured privacy. "You may speak freely now," Naruko said. Naruko stepped forward. "I wield the Sharingan, its advanced form, the Eternal Mangekyo, and the Rinnegan. I'm also the Jinchuriki of the tailed beast that represents the union of all others. Most techniques are ineffective against me, and my control over wood release is absolute. In close combat, very few can match me." Hinata added, "I possess the Byakugan, and its evolved form, the Tensigan. My strength rivals even Lady Tsunade, and my proficiency in water and lightning release makes me highly adaptable. I'm also a Kenjutsu user, and I'm the Jinchuriki of a powerful beast as well. Like Naruko, I have complete harmony with mine. Together, we are unmatched," Naruko concluded. "I see," May replied after a moment of silence. "Then we're truly fortunate to have you." Just then, a messenger burst in. "May-sama. The Mizukage has surrounded us with 3 armies. We only have the numbers to face one." Naruko and Hinata exchanged a look. "Not if we have anything to say about it," they said in unison, vanishing in a flash. "You and I carry a similar burden. As Jinchuriki, we've both faced rejection and isolation for something that was never our choice," Naruko said calmly, her voice steady but heartfelt. "The same could be said for those with Kekkei Genkai, born with abilities they never asked for, yet constantly judged. So tell me, why the double standard?" "It doesn't matter," Yagura snapped. "You're a threat to my village, and I have a duty to stop you. I will show no restraint." With that, Yagura surged forward, his weapon drawn. Naruko swiftly reached behind her and blocked the strike with her gunbai, her expression unreadable. She drew her blade in a single smooth motion, countering with a precise arc toward Yagura's shoulder. He ducked and launched a spinning kick, but Naruko's body flickered, his strike passed through an afterimage. Landing a few paces back, Yagura broke free from the illusion, realizing he had been under a subtle genjutsu. Naruko, now back on her feet, calmly sheathed her sword and raised one hand into a familiar seal. Kaden, Ryuen Hoka no Jutsu. A series of majestic, dragon-shaped flames soared through the air toward Yagura. In response, he formed a rippling mirror of water, an aqua mirror, and from it emerged a mirrored version of Naruko, casting the same fiery technique. Both attacks collided and scattered into harmless steam. Yagura narrowed his eyes and weaved more signs. Suten, Mizu Dongan Danmaku. A torrent of water bullets shot forth. Naruko raised her gunbai in a defensive arc and whispered softly. Uchiha Gishi. The bullets reflected with incredible precision, rebounding toward Yagura, who narrowly avoided the barrage by releasing a surge of chakra. Calling upon his tailed beast, Yagura transformed partially into Isabu, the mighty three-tailed turtle. Bear witness to the strength of the Sanbi, he declared, summoning a roaring wave. Rough sea plume. A colossal jet of water rushed toward Naruko. But she stood firm, spinning her chakra into a fiery sphere, enhanced with earth nature. Senpo, Yotan Rasen Shuriken. With a graceful throw, the blazing vortex spun through the wave, overpowering it and engulfing Yagura in a flash of blinding light. He winced and staggered back, overwhelmed. Not finished yet, Naruko whispered. Her hands moved quickly. Senpo, Myojinmon. A series of glowing red gates dropped from the sky, sealing Isabu's movements and anchoring its power. What is this? Yagura gasped, now struggling against the bindings. Naruko clasped her hands again. Mukuten, Mokuryu no Jutsu. A majestic wooden dragon emerged from the earth, spiraling upward to wrap around Isabu. Vines and branches shimmered with chakra, gently but firmly subduing the creature. You really thought I would come unprepared? Naruko said evenly, stepping forward as a shimmering, purple chain formed in her hand. The chakra chain extended, linking to Isabu's essence. Its head resembled a spiritual guardian, calm and wise. What are you doing? Yagura asked, astonished. I must harmonize with the Sanbi. It's essential for what's to come. Who are you really? I am someone the world forgot, but whose ideals will shape what comes next. I am Naruko Uchiha. With a deep breath and a swirl of glowing energy, Naruko safely integrated the essence of Isabu into her being. When the mist cleared, Yagura lay quietly, unconscious, in a shallow crater where Isabu once stood, his chakra safely sealed, his threat now neutralized. Naruko turned to the remaining shinobi of the mist. Your strength is admirable, but your leader has stepped down. I am not here to interfere with your civil matters, but if peace is your goal, surrender is the path. She vanished in a graceful spiral of fire, leaving behind only silence. Rebellion Camp. Naruko reappeared at the resistance camp, where cheering and joyous celebration echoed all around. Bloodline users embraced one another in relief and happiness. Naruko blinked, mildly confused by the outpouring of excitement. She walked toward Hinata, who stood firm, her energy flaring protectively around her. Anyone who dared come too close quickly backed away. Would you care to explain? Naruko asked, placing an arm gently around Hinata's shoulder. The Mizukagae's forces surrendered, Hinata replied, smiling softly. They witnessed your strength and chose not to continue fighting. Naruko sighed, her eyes distant. I helped many today. But even so, I feel conflicted. Hinata nodded in understanding. Not every choice is easy. But you protected countless lives. They stood together, surrounded by the hope of a peaceful future. And for a brief moment, even amidst the chaos of a shifting world, Naruko allowed herself to feel the comfort of a friend's embrace. Time skip, 3 days later. Naruko and Hinata had remained in Kiri for a little while longer to assist with reconstruction efforts. During their stay, Naruko met with Mei and the Kirigakure Council, where she shared her decision to entrust Haku with the responsibility of becoming the host of the three-tailed beast. Although she didn't reveal the creature's true name, Haku graciously accepted the role and began training to harmonize with the newfound power. As Naruko and Hinata prepared to depart, Naruko sensed a peculiar third presence brushing the edge of her mind. She focused inwards and heard a voice, not one she recognized as Lobo's or her own inner dialogue. Sama, it appears the Kyubi Jinchuriki has defeated the fourth Mizukage and passed the Sanbi on to a new host, the voice reported. Do you know who the new Jinchuriki is, Zetsu? Another voice asked. No, Pain-sama. If the Jinchuriki told anyone, they're being extremely secretive about it. I see. Does anyone else have updates on the Kyubi Jinchuriki? Asked the voice identified as Pain. Curious, Naruko pressed gently into this mysterious awareness, careful not to alert the others. Suddenly, She found herself viewing a room filled with 8 holographic figures. While some were unfamiliar, she immediately recognized the distinctive forms of Itachi and Kisame. "I do, Leader Sama," Itachi spoke. "Speak, Itachi," said the man with the rinnegan, a sight that nearly made Naruko gasp. "When Kisame and I confronted the Kyuubi Jinchuriki, she demonstrated abilities that contradict our intelligence," Itachi reported. "Such as?" "She possesses the Sharingan and can activate it at will, implying Uchiha lineage." The room fell silent, shocked. "Are you certain?" Pain questioned. "Absolutely. Neither Kisame nor I detected any genjutsu. The Sharingan appears to be genuine." "Anything further?" "Yes. During the encounter, she also revealed the rinnegan." All 8 members visibly reacted to the revelation. At that moment, Naruko took over the connection with ease. "It's not very polite to discuss someone behind their back," Naruko's voice echoed calmly, catching the others off guard. "Zetsu?" Pain asked, clearly confused. "Zetsu isn't here right now. Please leave a message after the tone," Naruko quipped. "Who are you?" Pain demanded. "I am Naruko Otsutsuki. Pleased to make your acquaintance." "Naruko?" Itachi said, stunned. "Yes, that's me." "How did you possess Zetsu?" Pain questioned. "Zetsu was created through the Geto Mazo. As its true controller, I can access any being linked to it." "And how do you have the Sharingan?" Itachi asked cautiously. "Well, that's a story for another time. Let's get introductions first, shall we?" Naruko gestured toward Konan. "Let's begin with the lady." "You knew I was a woman?" Konan asked curiously. "Your chakra and body language gave it away." "I am Konan, also known as the Angel of Amigakure." "Pleasure to meet you, Konan-san," Naruko replied politely. Then she looked to Pain. "I am Pain. I lead the Akatsuki." "Interesting. The rinnegan doesn't feel native to your chakra. It's borrowed power, isn't it?" "I am the second sage of 6 paths." "Strange. Because I am his reincarnation." Naruko smiled, then pointed to the next member. "I'm Deidara." "From Iwagakure, correct?" Naruko asked. "Yes, and what of it?" "Just surprised you're not more hostile toward me." "Why would I be?" "Well, considering my father's past during the war." "Who's your father?" "Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash." "You're his daughter?" "Yes. Why?" "Nothing. I was just thinking about how different things could have been." Deidara shrugged. Naruko then looked to the next. "Sasori." "Suna's puppet master, how fascinating," Naruko nodded before turning to another. "You have 5 chakra signatures. Care to explain?" "I'm Kakuzu. That's all you need to know." "And lastly, the one with the scythe." "Finally. I am Hidan of Jashin." "Well, now that we've exchanged names, here's a message: your plan won't work while I'm here. You're chasing something that can't be achieved." With that, Naruko severed the connection. Her eyes opened to see Hinata gazing at her with concern. "Are you all right?" Hinata asked gently. "You spaced out for a moment." "I'm fine. I just discovered something enlightening. And made a new connection." Hinata smirked playfully. "Shall we continue, or would you prefer to keep staring off into space?" Naruko laughed and playfully tapped Hinata's arm. "Let's go." Dash. Time skip, 13 days later. Naruko and Hinata were strolling through the village, holding hands, when they sensed 3 chakra signatures stealthily approaching. "Feel that, Haim?" Naruko asked. Hum. What do you want to do?" Hinata replied. Naruko grinned. "Let's surprise them." In a flash, they vanished and reappeared behind Konohamaru and his friends, catching them off guard. A shadow clone held Udon down gently. "Your sneak attack has been discovered," Naruko and Hinata said in unison, playfully placing wooden practice kunai near their necks. "Aw man." Konohamaru groaned. "We thought we had you this time." "For your level, that was quite impressive," Naruko said, ruffling his hair. "Truly. You've improved a lot," Hinata smiled warmly. "Thanks, Hinata-ne." Konohamaru grinned. "But we're not done yet," came a voice behind them, Hanabi, Hinata's younger sister. "A pincer formation? Very clever," Naruko said with admiration. "You got us." Hanabi smiled victoriously. "Or so you thought," Naruko finished, and all 3 vanished in a puff of smoke. The young squad regrouped, back to back, drawing practice kunai, only to see colorful streamers burst around them from surprise tags. From the shadows, Naruko emerged, laughing. You all did great. Here, treat yourselves. She handed them some spending money. Thanks, Naruko ne. They cheered and ran off. As Naruko offered her arm to Hinata, a sharp cry caught their attention. Rushing toward the sound, they found Hanabi being held by a boy in a cat outfit. Let go of her, Konohamaru shouted bravely. I will. Once she learns manners, the boy said smugly. That's enough, Kankuro, a girl behind him cautioned. You know he wouldn't approve. He's not here. Someone needs to teach her a lesson. Suddenly, Kankuro felt a kunai at his neck. How about you learn some respect first? Naruko whispered calmly. Kankuro froze, realizing he hadn't even sensed her move. Here are 4 good reasons to reconsider. 1. She's my girlfriend's sister. 2. She's the daughter of Hyashi Hyuga. 3. Your friend up in that tree doesn't seem pleased with you. And 4. Just don't do this. Kankuro looked up to see Gaara. Gee Gaara. Put her down. You're embarrassing us, Gaara said coolly. Kankuro obeyed immediately. Hanabi ran to Hinata's side. Hey there, Gaara. Naruko smiled. It's been a while, Naruko. Indeed. How've you been? Better. Thanks to you. Gaara then looked at Hinata. So this is the famous Hinata I've heard about. Words don't do your presence justice. He was immediately hit with a wave of protective energy from Naruko. Gaara raised his hands. Understood. Boundaries respected. Naruko's playful smirk returned. Want to join us for lunch and catch up? Actually, I need to return to the compound with Hanabi, Hinata said sweetly, giving Naruko a quick peck. Come on, Hanabi. Bye, Naruko ne. Bye, Konohamaru-kun. Gaara and Naruko walked off, chatting, while Kankuro and Temari nervously followed behind. Okay, Naruko said with a confident smile, then grabbed her teammates by the back of their shirts and gently ushered them toward the 3rd floor. Upon arriving, they were greeted by their sensei, Kakashi. Good, you're all here, Kakashi said with a smile. If even one of you hadn't shown up, I wouldn't have let you proceed. But you said we had a choice, Sakura replied, a bit confused. That was only to ensure Naruko and Sasuke didn't pressure you into making a decision you weren't comfortable with, Kakashi replied, his signature eye smile making an appearance. But none of that matters now. You're all here, and I'm here to wish you the best of luck. And with that, Kakashi disappeared in a puff of smoke. Team 7 stepped into the room ahead, immediately feeling the intense presence of other strong contenders. A wave of pressure swept over them. Naruko casually reacted by cleaning her nails with a kunai, seemingly unfazed. Sasuke showed minor signs of tension, while Sakura visibly trembled. Suddenly, a blur of purple energy collided with Sasuke. Hey there, handsome, Ino greeted as she clung to Sasuke affectionately. This immediately brought Sakura out of her nervous state. Get off him, Ino, Sakura snapped. Sasuke belongs with me. Says who? Ino shot back, and their bickering filled the room. Naruko, meanwhile, calmly tuned out their argument, her senses focused elsewhere. Moments later, she detected a powerful chakra signature approaching. She spun quickly and drew her blade, holding it firmly at the neck level of the incoming figure. Whoa, easy there. The girl said as she stepped back. She had warm tan skin, short spiky mint green hair held with an orange clip, and matching orange eyes. Her outfit consisted of a white sleeveless midriff top with mesh armor underneath, long white arm sleeves, fishnet shorts, and a white apron-like skirt. Her forehead protector was tied around her right arm, and she carried a wrapped cylindrical object on her back. Apologies, Naruko said as she sheathed her blade. That was instinct. A calm voice echoed in her mind, Naruko, she's Chomei's Jinchuriki. It was Lobo, her inner guide. Appreciate it, Lobo, Naruko responded mentally before turning to the girl. Nice to meet you, Nana. Likewise, To-san, the girl replied warmly, much to the surprise of those around them. Naruko quickly explained before questions could arise. Not literally her parent, just carrying the spirit of someone important to her. Chomei probably prompted her to say that. That's right. Name's Fu, the girl confirmed with a cheerful grin. I'm Naruko, she replied. I can sense 2 more like us in this crowd, Fu noted. One of them is my dear friend, Hinata Hyuga, Naruko said, glancing at Hinata, who waved at her gently before returning to a conversation with her teammates. The other is a Jinan from the sand village named Gara. Before the discussion could continue, a new presence approached, a boy in purple, his tone more serious. "You all are being a little too loud," he said calmly. "This isn't an academy field trip. Everyone here is highly trained." "And who might you be?" Kiba asked with a raised eyebrow. "Kabuto Yakashi," the boy answered. "My team and I have been through this exam before." "Veterans, huh? How many times have you taken it?" 7. "Wow. Either you're persistent or this exam is just that challenging." Kabuto simply smiled and pulled out a stack of information cards. "Thanks to my experience, I've gathered data on this year's participants, including you. Show me Naruko Otsutsuki, Neji Hyuga, and Hinata Hyuga," Sasuke requested. "Oh, so you know their names already? That spoils the surprise," Kabuto teased as he pulled out the cards. "Naruko Otsutsuki, her teammates are Sasuke Uchiha and Sakura Haruno. She's completed 30 D rank missions, 1 B rank, and even an A rank, which is rare for a Jinan. Her ninjutsu is exceptional, her chakra reserves are massive. Genjutsu is average, but her taijutsu and kenjutsu are elite. She possesses an unidentified dojutsu she can activate at will in a mysterious nature-based style called senpo. There are rumors of her using a powerful form of defensive technique that allows her to phase through attacks. Interestingly, she was this year's lowest-ranked academy graduate." He continued. "Neji Hyuga has completed 45 D ranks, 2 C ranks, and a B rank. Exceptional in close combat due to his clan's techniques. Hinata Hyuga has similar stats to Naruko, excelling as a medic ninja and possessing unique abilities from her bloodline. She's believed to be comparable in raw strength to Lady Tsunade, though they've never sparred, so it remains unconfirmed." As Kabuto spoke, Naruko caught Gaara's eyes and subtly pointed toward Kabuto, mouthing the word spy. Gaara gave a silent nod in agreement. Kabuto then added, "Even smaller villages like Otogakur have sent participants, though they're new, so likely not much threat." This clearly annoyed the Jinan from Oto. "Did he just say we're not worth worrying about?" one of them asked. "Sounds like it," replied another. "Let's show him that we're more than capable," the third said as he and his teammate charged at Kabuto. One launched a punch, which Kabuto easily dodged. However, a sharp sound filled the air, and Kabuto winced, staggering backward with a pained expression. Sound-based technique, Naruko thought quickly. Noted. "I'll prepare a counter-strategy." As things settled, Naruko turned toward Kabuto. "Might want to make a note on those cards, the Jinan from Oto won't be underestimated again." Suddenly, a large puff of smoke appeared, and the next proctor arrived with a dramatic entrance. "All right, everyone, take a seat and quiet down," the proctor announced. "Any more fighting, and you'll be disqualified." The room quickly settled down. While the proctor explained the rules, Naruko activated her Rinnegan and created a shadow clone using Rinbo, Cage Bunshine, which remained hidden in a separate plane. "You have 45 minutes to complete the test," the proctor said. "After that, the 10th and final question will be revealed. Begin." Naruko calmly answered her questions, discreetly receiving help from her invisible clone. As the minutes ticked by, several teams were eliminated. Finally, the time limit expired. "Pencils down," the proctor ordered. "Now for the 10th question, but beware, get it wrong, and you're out. Forever. You'll never be allowed to become a Chunin." "That's not fair," Kiba protested. "Those are the rules. If you don't want to risk it, you can leave and try again next year," the proctor explained. Naruko raised her hand. "Yes, Naruko? If someone were to, hypothetically, defeat the proctor, would that count as passing?" The proctor blinked. "Technically. Yes." "Good to know," Naruko replied, smirking playfully. "You wouldn't be foolish enough to try, would you? And you wouldn't underestimate us, would you?" Naruko countered. "This test doesn't scare me. Bring it on." After a tense pause, the proctor smiled. "Congratulations. You all pass." "Wait, what?" someone exclaimed. "That's right. You've shown the courage and determination needed. That was the real test." Suddenly, a figure burst through the window, followed by a banner reading the dynamic and talented Anko Mitarashi, proctor of the second exam. "No time to celebrate just yet," Anko said cheerfully. "You've still got a long way to go." "You're early, Anko," the previous proctor commented. 81 participants? You let 27 teams pass? You're getting soft, she teased. Or maybe they're stronger than expected, he replied. Well then, I'll be the one to push them harder, Anko said confidently. She turned to the group. Everyone, follow me. We're heading to the next phase, Training Ground 44, better known as the Forest of Challenges. The Chunin Exam, Forest of Trials. A crowd of Chunin hopefuls stood gathered before the imposing gate that led into the next stage of the exam. In front of them stood Anko Mitarashi, a confident and slightly eccentric proctor, smiling widely. Welcome to the Forest of Trials, Anko announced with enthusiasm. Before we proceed, you'll each need to sign a waiver. Why do we have to sign this? A curious Jinan from Amigakure asked. It's a standard form, Anko replied casually. It basically says the village isn't responsible for anything that happens inside. It's a tough world out there. The waivers were quickly distributed, and each team signed them without much delay. Alright, Anko continued, here are the rules. You'll spend up to 5 days in the forest. Your team will be given a scroll, either heaven or earth. Your goal is to obtain the opposite scroll and reach the tower in the center of the forest. But beware, the forest has more than just shinobi challenges. It's full of wildlife and surprises. What about food? Choji asked. You'll have to gather what you need. The forest is rich with nature's gifts, but remember, not everything is safe to eat. Stay alert, and stay sharp, she said with a playful but slightly menacing grin. Sounds exciting, Naruko said, her voice filled with excitement. Just then, someone threw a kunai at her, but she caught it midair and effortlessly tossed it back, coated with a layer of wind chakra. Let's just say I'm ready. You've got confidence, Anko commented, impressed. But confidence alone won't get you through this forest. I'm not worried. And for the record, Naruko replied, if you're trying to scare someone, try my teammates. You'll have better luck. After a few more moments, the proctors led each team to their respective starting gates. A buzzer sounded, the gates opened, and the teams rushed in, disappearing into the dense forest. A strange encounter. After a few minutes of travel, Naruko turned to her teammates. Hey, I need a quick break. I'll be right behind those trees. Be right back. She walked into the woods. A few moments later, someone returned from that direction, but Sasuke immediately noticed something was off. Without hesitation, he threw a kunai. You're not Naruko. Come out. What are you talking about? Of course I am. No, Sasuke said firmly. 3 reasons, your kunai pouch is on the wrong leg, your hair color is slightly off. And the real Naruko is behind you. The imposter turned around to find the real Naruko standing there, a confident look in her eyes. You've got some nerve impersonating me, Naruko said calmly. Do you have a scroll on you? And no. Then you're wasting our time. The imposter suddenly vanished in a puff of smoke. It had only been a clone. Sasuke tensed up. Looks like someone's testing us. We need a way to verify each other going forward, Sakura said. Agreed, Sasuke replied. We'll use a code. The question is, when does a ninja strike? The answer, a ninja waits until the right moment, when the enemy lowers their guard, when the world is silent, and the night still, that is the moment to act. Got it? Got it. Naruko and Sakura echoed. Suddenly, a massive gust of wind tore through the trees. The team braced themselves. Naruko used the opportunity to vanish using her teleportation technique, disappearing into her pocket dimension. From the shadows, she observed her teammates' reactions. Sakura and Sasuke hid among the bushes. When the wind died down, Sasuke emerged cautiously. Sakura, answer the question, he demanded. A ninja waits until the right moment. She recited. Satisfied, Sasuke nodded. Just then, Naruko walked back into view. You two okay? Without hesitation, Sasuke threw a kunai at her. What's the big idea? Sakura shouted. You didn't even test her. Think about it, Sasuke said. Has Naruko ever checked on us first before checking the situation? Oh. Right. Well done, the figure said before transforming into a different kunoichi, revealing her disguise. She smirked, holding an earth scroll. Looking for this? She dramatically swallowed the scroll. Now, only one of us is leaving with both scrolls. She released a surge of intimidating energy that paralyzed Sasuke and Sakura. They could barely move. Sasuke forced himself to act, using pain as a distraction to regain control. He threw a kunai and dodged at the last moment, saving Sakura. The enemy observed closely. Impressive, she muttered. Perhaps not as helpless as I thought. Naruko, watching from the trees, sighed. So this is how Sasuke handles pressure? I guess I've seen enough. She tossed a special kunai that the enemy dodged, only for Naruko to instantly teleport in front of her. Rasengan. The spiraling chakra orb slammed into the enemy, launching her into a tree. You look just like Minato, she said, shocked. If you're here to fight, then let's keep it professional, Naruko said calmly. Orochimaru revealed. From the shadows, the real enemy emerged, Orochimaru. So we finally meet, Naruko, he said. Let's skip the introductions. Your chakra gives you away. You are your father's child, he said. It's obvious who you are. Good. That means I don't have to hold back. With a swift series of teleportations and shadow clone attacks, Naruko launched a coordinated assault. Her movements were so fast she was almost invisible. As Orochimaru tried to recover, Naruko unleashed a fireball technique that forced him back. You're strong, he admitted, then smiled cruelly. Let's see how you handle this, summoning jutsu, reanimation. A coffin rose, and from it stepped Kushina Uzumaki. Minato? She said, her voice trembling. Guess again, Naruko said, her expression softening. It's me, Ka-chan. Naruko? She tried to rush to her daughter, but Orochimaru used a control seal to stop her. I didn't bring her here for a reunion, he said smugly. Naruko's eyes narrowed. You've made two mistakes, disturbing her peace and bringing her back with her strength intact. She activated her Rinnegan. Outer Path, Life Restoration. A surge of chakra surrounded Kushina, and the control over her was broken. She blinked as life returned to her. I'm alive? She whispered, amazed. Kushina spun and landed a powerful strike on Orochimaru. Catch! Naruko called, tossing her sword to her mother. Kushina caught it and assumed a fierce battle stance. Let's put this snake back in his hole, she said. Together, Naruko agreed. They attacked with flawless coordination, overwhelming Orochimaru. Blow after blow landed, leaving him unable to counter. Just when defeat seemed inevitable, he smiled again. What's so funny? Kushina asked. I've accomplished what I came for. Sasuke has been marked with my seal. The battle paused momentarily as Naruko turned, her eyes narrowing in concern. I see you're still as persistent as ever, Naruko muttered as she formed a swirling orb of chakra in her hand. Just as Orochimaru attempted to teleport away using a sunshine technique, a small black sphere appeared midair and intercepted him, sending him flying across the clearing. He staggered back, clearly drained. A miscalculation, Naruko sighed. Orochimaru, weakened and visibly low on chakra, smirked. I'll return. Once I unlock the final key to immortality, he declared, sinking into the ground and vanishing from sight. Well, that was certainly something, Kushina commented, turning to her daughter. That technique you used. It resembled Minato-kun's Rasengan, but it looked like you launched it. It's called Onmyotan, Rasengan, Naruko explained. I infused it with yin-yang chakra and used a space-shifting ninjutsu to throw it at extreme speed. It's difficult to control, but I'm glad it hit, even if I didn't strike the exact spot I aimed for. Where were you aiming? His head, Naruko answered simply. Kushina nodded thoughtfully. Now that I'm back, I'll need to find somewhere to stay. Why not stay at Dad's house? I live there, and the seal should still recognize your chakra. Good idea. Have you made any changes? A few, Naruko said with a proud smile. I expanded the room you made for me using wood release and shadow clones. That way, when Hinata Haim moves in, there will be plenty of space. The master bedroom is untouched, and when I figure out how to bring Dad back, you two can enjoy it again. I added a courtyard with a garden, a hot spring, separate for men and women, a few training rooms, and even a space for working with Bijou energy. Wow, you've been busy, Kushina chuckled. Alright, I'm off to settle in and check in with the third Hokage about the Chunin exams. She vanished in a blur of motion. Naruko turned and dashed toward a familiar chakra signature, Sakura's. Meanwhile, Team 8 in the forest. Hinata and her team were navigating the forest when a sudden wave of lightning-style ninjutsu came crashing through the trees. Reacting quickly, Hinata grabbed her teammates and leapt to safety. 3 shinobi and Cloud Village headbands landed in front of them. Seems we've found our target, one of them said confidently. Kumo Nin? How did they get in? Kiba asked. They must have disguised themselves using transformation techniques to enter the exams, Hinata replied calmly. They're after me. Smart and brave, one of the enemy nin muttered, clearly underestimating her. Hinata turned to her teammates. Shino, Kiba, get out of here. I'll handle this. They're after me, not you. But, Shino started. Go. I'll be fine. Her eyes activated into the Byakugan as her chakra surged. Don't bother struggling, one enemy said. We specialize in countering the Hyuga clan. I'm not your average Hyuga, Hinata replied. Bone-like extensions emerged from her palms. She darted forward with speed that stunned her opponents, striking the rightmost ninja and sending him flying. In a series of graceful movements, she neutralized another with precision strikes and a wave of fire-style chakra. Only one remained, but he tried to attack from behind. A glowing blue hand blocked the strike. Always watch your back, Haim, Naruko said calmly as she appeared beside her. I knew he was there. You just wanted to show off, Hinata teased. Guilty as charged, Naruko laughed. The enemy shinobi tried to react but locked eyes with Naruko, his consciousness flickered and then dropped, overcome by her genjutsu. What brings you here, Naruko? Hinata asked. I sensed 3 high-level chakra signatures near your team and came to help. He had a heaven scroll, Hinata said, holding it up. Perfect. We need an earth scroll. You keep this one, Naruko said as she vanished toward the next chakra cluster. Elsewhere in the forest. When Naruko arrived, the area was chaotic. Rock Lee was down, Shikamaru and Choji unconscious, and Sakura clearly distressed but conscious. Ino was backed against a tree, trembling. Naruko quickly subdued the source of the disturbance, Sasuke, who was behaving erratically under the influence of a dark chakra. Naruko immobilized him using a temporary paralysis seal. You've lost control, Sasuke, she said sternly, restraining him with chakra binds. Seeing Ino's terrified expression, Naruko stepped back respectfully. Don't worry, he won't hurt anyone again. Hinata soon arrived, and with her support, comforted Ino, offering her reassurance and a fresh change of clothing Naruko had created using a sealing technique. Thank you, Ino whispered to Hinata, changing behind a wooden barrier Naruko formed for privacy. Once everyone was safe, Naruko turned to Hinata. I'll take Sasuke and Sakura to the tower and inform the Hokage. He'll decide what happens next. Sasuke will not be allowed to endanger anyone again. At the Chunin exam tower. When Naruko arrived with her team, Iruka was waiting. Welcome, Team 7. Congratulations on completing the second stage of the Chunin exams, he said cheerfully. Naruko nodded. Hey, Iruka-sensei, did any other team arrive before us? Yes, one team from Suna beat you by 2 hours. Naruko grinned. Haha. That means Gaara owes me 1,200 ryo. After showering, she found Gaara in the cafeteria. Without a word, Gaara handed her the owed money. So you two know each other? Tamari asked. Yes, we met a few months ago during my journey to meet other Jinchuriki, Naruko explained. Why is Gaara so calm around you? Kankuro asked. He even threatens us. That's just for appearances, Gaara said nonchalantly. I've changed a lot recently. You're not dangerous anymore? Tamari asked in surprise. No, Shukaku and I understand each other now. Naruko's expression turned thoughtful. There are some things you don't joke about, though. Especially hurting others. Some situations recently reminded me of that. Gaara looked at her with concern. What happened? A teammate lost control and endangered others. I stepped in before things could escalate. But it reminded me how quickly things can go wrong if we don't stand up for each other. There was a pause before Kankuro asked, trying to shift the mood. So you're a Jinchuriki too? Yes. I am the host of the Jubi, Naruko said calmly. The siblings looked shocked. But I thought there were only 9, Kankuro said. The Jubi was the original entity. The 9 were created from it. I learned about it from ancient texts sealed beneath Konoha, texts only readable with special ocular powers. So, you already became its Jinchuriki? Tamari asked. Naruko nodded. Yes, before I met Gaara. She stretched. Anyway, I'm heading to bed. If you see Sasuke, don't worry. He won't be a danger to anyone. Hinata and I will make sure of that. Dear YouTube family. That's a wrap for now, but the journey doesn't end here. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching, and as always, stay awesome. With gratitude. 6 Path Weeb.